we're going to be talking about indemnities. What are indemnities? Indemnities make your business harm-free from legal liability. So that's actually, you can imagine, a lot more complex. They need to be drafted in a way that protects your business from a particular thing. So what can you get indemnity clauses for? Now, obviously, there are lots of indemnity clauses in a commercial environment. There might be an indemnity in your commercial lease. You might have an indemnity with your suppliers. You might indemnify your clients from you going out there and doing something negligent, for instance. So there are lots of indemnities out there. But for employees, we think about indemnities that are in or around making you harm-free from legal liability. Now, I've seen indemnities that relate to restraints of trade. They're probably a good idea. I'm very surprised that employees are signing them, so be very careful about your indemnities in this way, because certainly a decent lawyer would be recommending that any employee refuses to sign a contract with those sort of indemnities in them. But certainly if you can get it over the line, happy days. You can ask for your employees to indemnify you on an essential term of your employment contract. For example, if you're giving them a company car, you might seek an indemnity for issues about negligence and vicarious liability for damages. You might, if they're out doing some sort of work and they make a mistake, you might be able to get an indemnity from them to rectify that mistake. It's going to be difficult, but depending on the circumstances, you might be able to get it over the line. Indemnities happen a lot for contractors, so if it's not necessarily an employment relationship but a contractor's relationship, then it's more than likely you're going to be able to get that contractor to indemnify you to make you harm-free from any liability in relation to their negligence. So that could be, you might run a cleaning company, you've got a bunch of contractors, that contractor goes out and cleans, they make a terrible job of it, you can send them back out and they'll indemnify you for the costs of doing that. So there are ways that you can get indemnities into your employment contracts, but you really need to be specific. So you need to stop and think about what is it that you want an indemnity for and how you're going to protect yourself, and then we can help you draft that indemnity to make it right for you. But indemnities are fairly complex, and we certainly do not recommend that you try to draft your own indemnities. And I would absolutely caution you against downloading an indemnity from any website, because you just don't know if it's going to be compliant here. Do I need an indemnity? Not all employers need indemnities from their employees. It does depend very heavily on what they're doing. For instance, if you've got an employee that is taking a lot of overseas travel, you might want to get an indemnity from them with their negligence while they're overseas, or you might want to put a policy in place to make sure that they're indemnifying you from undertaking activities that their insurance won't cover while they're overseas. So there's one way of doing an indemnity that way. You might want an indemnity, like I said, for employees who are using company cars from making you harm-free from legal liability if they have an accident in that car. Or you might want an indemnity from your employee in relation to some sort of restraint of trade. Can my employees say no to signing one? Well, it depends on where your indemnity is. If the indemnity is an employment contract, then yes, they can look at, any document they can say no to, but depending on how it's drafted and where it's drafted, it might be more difficult for them. So they might find it more difficult to say no to an indemnity that's drafted into an employment contract than they would if the document was a separate document on its own. But they might be more willing to sign an indemnity to sign away, to make you harm-free from legal liability if you're out at a work function doing paintball, for instance. So they might sign an indemnity that way. I don't know if I need an indemnity. How can I figure this out? Yeah, you need to speak to a lawyer, and we can certainly help you with that. Part of my job is to assist my clients in identifying the sort of things that they need in their employment, with their employment relationships with their employees, and that means indemnities. So give us a call. We can talk you through some of the issues. We can ask you some more questions about why you need an indemnity, and we can talk through whether you do or not need that indemnity. Thanks for watching.